on that pathway, not that it was like roads or anything like that, it was just across fields and through trees and forests. Partway through, they heard some goblins just sort of over the nearest hill. And one of them rolled really well for stealth, and Mallory managed to tuck herself away into next to a little bush, just off the beaten track. But both Digby and Wilgus, I believe, failed, and they couldn't find a spot in time for when these goblins sort of came over the top of the hill, saw them, and screamed, "Halt!" I think that's about it, right? Does that wrap everything up, I think? Did we miss anything?
Sounds like things were
getting dicey.
All right.
That's a sports reference, Adam. The layup. It's a sports reference.
Basketball. I know basketball. That's a sport that I know.
That's a sports reference.
The Olympics. It's in the Olympics.
Okay. All right. We've got some sound going. We've got Mallory off the behind a bush, Wilgus, Digby, and Christoph sort of trying to look for a spot to hide, just as these goblins crest this hill. And you guys lock eyes, and one of them's like, just puts out his hand, "Halt!" Sorry, wait a second. If we get a halt!
Well, we already halted. We're in the bush.
Oh, who's halting? Is it them that's halting, or
They
us?
just stopped. They just stopped walking. They're halting.
They all just reach for their weaponry, like hold it in front of them, sort of pointing it in your direction.
I do the same.
And there's about five. There's 5 of these goblins in this group, and they've all got like bags and backpacks and gear on them, as well as their weapons that they've now like quickly unsheathed and holding in front of them.
Oh, these must be Gob's friends. I step out from the bush. Hello. Are you friends of Gob?
And it's like squinting, and like the one that's out the front sort of like looks to his right. He says, "Gob, who are these people?" And Gob just like shrugs. He's just like,
You know, Gob. We met him at Ridham Mound. Isn't that right? And he said he invited us back to meet your queen. What was her name?
Meladuke.
They're like
Meladuke.
sort of like they're looking at each other. You've been to Riddermand?
That's right.
Hey.
So you have it?
No, but I think it's been taken. But Gob said that there was one guarded by a giant spider.
And like one of the goblins right at the
Throwing him under the bus.
yeah.
And that we could help your queen.
Gob, what have you told them? And he's just like, I've never seen them before in my life, I swear.
Oh, wait. Not Gob. Gub.
It's like, that
What's
sounds
going
like
on?
something Gub would do.
Yes.
So out of character, why are we talking about Gob and Gub? Wasn't the guy's name Grub?
It is Grub, but I'm not very good with names.
Right. And are you saying that there just happened to be someone named Gob in the 5 that we met? That's what's happened.
Okay, sorry, Adam, there, a little bit of confusion.
Yes, Adam.
I try to, with improv, I try to use yes anding. I go, yep, and then I go, and I try and build on top, just as a, yeah.
Thanks. I did do 10 years in the stand-up comedy world. So thanks for explaining the rules of improv to me. That's good.
Anytime. I think
No, wait. You're right. Grub. His name was Grub.
Grub's
didn't smell-
alive.
Yes, very much alive.
All right, and they're moving a little bit closer. There's far less aggression on them, but they've still got their weapons out as they're approaching. in a group. What else has Grub told you?
Well, he's told us that we'd have a place to stay at your village and to meet the queen.
They all sort of look at each other and start just cackling with laughter. Why would he tell you that?
Well, he's a nice young man.
We saved his life.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we were to help your queen find something to do with the spider.
So you're looking for the same things we are?
If it's worth a lot of money, yes. Whatever it is.
I think there's like a lowering of weaponry, but they're still keeping their distance. Yes, we can bring you to Maladuke, but you won't be allowed your weaponry.
Oh, we've barely got any weaponry anyway.
Do we get your weaponry? Is that how it works?
And they just raucous laughter with the group again. And just at the back, no.
For the avoidance of doubt. Contract lawyer that travels with them everywhere.
To be clear, no. What? Well, how do we feel about this?
Bad.
Mallory, how do these normally go?
Oh yeah, Mallory, seeing them having a friendly chit chat, making jokes and laughing, like leads Badonka back out of the bushes and comes up to join the crew.
They just sort of like jump with their like weapons pointing out towards you as you sort of make your way back towards your small group, and then they realize, okay, this is just more of the group, and they sheathe their weapons again.
Just a little old lady leading a donkey.
And there's one of the goblins like at the back is like eyeing up the donkey and just like drooling.
Don't eat the donkey. Are you hungry? Here, have some rabbit. Promise not to eat the donkey. I'll give you this.
They're just like that one is just like watching your hand with like the dead rabbit carcass like in your hand.
Here you go.
It just like
You're a good boy.
snatches it and just jumps down onto the ground, just like blood and sort of intestines just up it all over, and he's like pokes his head up and he's this big toothy grin just smeared with the blood of this rabbit.
Be careful, don't choke on the rosemary.
Yes, we can take you to Maladuke, but your armor, your weaponry, we must take it.
Yeah, that don't seem like fair terms to me.
I'm
How
with
about
Christoph
no
on that
one?
one.
How about no one gives up their weaponry, no one gives up their armor, and we all just agree to be civil.
There's laughter again, and you're looking at the group of these goblins, and one of them is still just like smearing, like picking up whatever's left of this rabbit and shoveling it into his mouth. Another one is just like scratching something that's like some sort of growth on his lower back. There's and they're all just sort of like cackling with the idea.
Nice and civil.
Now you goblin folk, you outnumber us by a significant amount. Even here and in your village, you'll have even more. So you have nothing to fear. And plus, this is a business arrangement. There has to be some form of trust.
Trust? We don't know you. You don't know us.
Yes, but we have to get on the right foot.
I did give Grub one of my bandages, so you guys kind of owe us. Actually.
Yes, and his head. We
He
didn't
saved
take
his
that.
life as well.
But, yeah, we could pay a bond maybe.
The bond is your weapons and your armor. You may get them back if Maladuke sees fit to gift them back to you.
Well, how about we meet on the outskirts and then she can decide?
That could totally work. We could not walk
It's like
more.
Star Wars.
You go get her and bring her to us.
Who
She can't have weapons.
You think you can just command the rights to see Maladuke, have her come to you? And again, they all just like raucous laughter. She's busy. She's a popular person where we're from.
Yeah, she's the queen. I gathered that from the title.
Popular queen.
Are you guys royalists, or do you believe that all people are born equal?
Is that just a question to the group, or it's quite a heavy topic?
He's leading a goblin uprising.
Yeah, it was a silly question now that I think about it, but my intent was to kind of probe for any kind of discontent amongst the group.
Yes, we'll become
that's probably not the right way to do it.
Yeah, so there's the words that's been used previously was chieftain. I don't know where the term queen has come up. So I don't know if there's purposefully calling her a queen here to muddy it, but they're a little confused. If you want to see our chieftain, the rules, we can't just let anybody into our abode. It's a good term, good name, a word that the goblins could use. Their abode.
Yeah, they're very fancy. Yeah,
Ooh.
Here we go.
A domicile.
They sent a poet and a scholar.
One of us will go. One of us will give up the armor and the weaponry, and the rest of us won't go. That way, we don't lose everything if it all goes tits up.
I know this guy who's talking. We could do without his armor. He's a good talker too, and he knows the chieftain already. That seems great. I vote for that. What do you guys think?
Who are you pointing to?
The guy who's been speaking.
Not Christoph.
The goblin who's been speaking to us so far.
Roll give me a persuasion roll.
You get a persuasion roll for that.
With
not for
with a bane. It's just like you're speaking so confusing to them that they're like getting tripped up on, like
cool.
On
persuasion with a bane coming up.
No. There's like a lot of confusion, a lot of looks back and forth at each other, and there's like mental arithmetic happening. What? You just want me to go and get her for you?
See, he's the scholar. He could be the next chieftain. What do you think, Christoph? You could rule Outskirt. This guy could rule Goblin Town.
I've got no designs on any leadership roles at the moment. I'm more thinking I just want to get. You know what? Maybe I should just meet the chieftain. I'll give up my armor and my weapons.
What?
You know.
Did you say you're going to give up your life, Christoph?
No, Wilgus. Oh. Sometimes I think you hear what you want to hear. No. I'm just saying we could have a representative from us that. So
if you were to die, could I have your hammer?
We don't need to be making the bequeathments just yet, do we?
Who rules the Outskirt then? After you've passed.
I don't know that that's relevant to the conversation right now, Wilgus.
We could write this down, Digby. Should we draw up a chart?
Meeting of minds.
Just turn to the goblins. One moment, please. Now, who do you bequeath your hammer to?
Well, I think it's a good idea, Christoph. If you're willing to go in without any armor and weapons, you're a very brave dwarf.
They might eat you, like this rabbit-eating guy.
Well, you'll have to avenge my death is the only thing, if I were to get taken advantage of.
They're going to take advantage of you. Well,
yes, avenging death is kind of right up my alley. Right. Stay alive too, Christoph, maybe.
How far away from the goblin hobnob?
You're not 100% sure. The map shows it's about a similar distance, but it's not to scale that Outskirt was from Riddermound. So it's about possibly a 2 to 3 day journey. You've already journeyed for about a day.
I don't want to hang out with these cunts for 3 days.
we can absolutely skip through, fast forward those moments.
In real time.
How about I sweeten the deal? I've got 2 silver pieces, I'll hire all 5 of you to be our scouts. Grub was pretty enticed by this offer.
Yes, well, we're not as clever as Grub, I think, in this winner. The deal is, if you want to see Meladuke, you cannot have your armor or your weaponry. She would not allow it.
Okay, I think we got that. But how about we do that
Could
when we get to the village instead of
compromise?
here?
I agree with Mallory.
The goblin looks to you, Mallory. What do you offer?
Let's say we put all our weapons on Badonkadonk, but we keep our armor. So we feel secure, you feel secure, we can carry on towards the village.
Give me just
What a diplomat.
Yeah. Give me a persuasion roll, please.
Well, surely that's such a good plan that I think Mallory should get a boon. That's genuine diplomacy.
Can we have
I'm happy for that.
get an assist and people are standing behind me going, yes.
Lucas will assist by not speaking.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah, chuck a boon on there.
Put in. Chuck a boon on. Oh, if my thing will. Okay. Persuasion. Come on, please. Pretty please. Oh!
Ooh.
That's a 1.
Yeah, well, what? Since you got a 1, what do you think their response?
Thank you
to
for
that
your
is?
support.
Tell me what you believe their response should
They'll
be
give us
to a
their
1.
weapons.
They're looking at Mallory, who's like giving the face, and then they're also looking at the goblin, who's still like licking his fingers in his face because Mallory gave him meat, and it's like, yes.
he's the one that, like, with the blood all over his face, is just sort of says, "She's got a good point." Like you've won him over straight away. And this the goblin at the head of this group says, "Fine, put your weapons on your donkey." And the group of goblins
Already? How about we do it when we're close to the fucking queen, the chieftain, not for the entire 3 days. We don't have to give them up, do we?
I think they're worried about us like stabbing them on the way
That's
there.
exactly right, Mallory.
Oh, no trust in this world anymore.
Yeah.
World of Dragonbane.
Do we need to rule out that the donkey can't use our weapons either?
yeah. I don't believe the donkey can use them.
It could be a magical donkey, and you don't know that it's not. So how about we travel a day, and then put the weapons on the donkey? Ha!
How about I cut your stomach open and I use your weaponry to dig a hole to bury it all in, and then the rest of us go back to Meladuke without the weaponry.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Boys, I think we're getting a little hot under the collar. Just take a breath in and a breath out.
One of the
We're all here to
goblins,
have a good
one of the
time.
goblins sort of whispers to the other ones, like, "They're a splintered group. They're not going to last very long."
Oh, that breathing exercise really helped. I didn't cut anyone. Thank you, Mallory.
The goblins
growth.
They've sheathed their weapons, and they start walking over to you individually to start pulling the weaponry off your
That's okay. I can do it myself. I'll put it on the donk.
Okay, the donk.
Mallory's put in her what do you call it, bow and quiver onto the donkey because she's not letting anyone else touch this stuff. It's like, excuse me.
Yeah, that's fair. How about Christoph and Wilgus? Do you let the goblins assist you in taking your weaponry?
Wilgus will take off his short sword and his dagger and put it on Badonk. Question out of character for the party. Wilgus has another knife, and it's a little tiny one.
Baby knife.
I think he might just keep that on the sneaky sneak. What do you guys think?
It's entirely up to Wilgus.
The only risk is if you kind of get found in breach or it somehow comes out, we're probably all going to die. Because at that point, we'll have broken the trust and we'll have no weaponry.
And it's just a knife.
Yeah. Rogue Bulgus rolls the common sense around in his brain, hesitates, but then puts his second knife on Badonk.
Unless it was a magic knife.
I'll
Christoph?
take off my short sword, strap it to the donkey, and then I'll make a big song and dance about this crappy old rust bucket of a warhammer, trying to make it seem like the least valuable thing.
It's
Hey, this
beautifully
old thing,
shiny. It's,
lucky if this thing holds up on the road there, probably due for a replacement. Oh, should have gotten a better one than this. Bottom of the range, lads. That kind of thing.
with all of the weaponry now stored on Badonkadonk, the goblin that had been feasting on that rabbit, still covered in the rabbit's blood, just leaps onto the back of the donkey as to like, he's like, I'm gonna ride this one home. He's the crazy one, and the rest of the group grab the lead of Badonkadonk and have look to be in control of your donkey, and they point. All right. Come on then! And the journey to the southwest begins.
Just out of character question for the group. Should I or should one of us try and kick the donkey in the nuts so that it bucks? So that it bucks the was it Gob?
Let's say it's Gob. Sure, yeah, it's Gob.
So that it bucks Gob off and Gob hits the ground and we can't really be held responsible because it was the donkey that did it.
100%.
One of us should surreptitiously try and put a boot into the donkey's knackers.
Not me, because donkeys remember. Donkeys always remember.
Do they?
They do.
Okay.
Don't hurt a donkey. It'll see your face and remember.
It's like me, isn't it? Like my character always remembers.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will get you on the balls.
All right.
Later.
This little donkey is your spirit animal. You should be.
I'm
nuts
just going
for
to
it.
try and surreptitiously kick this donkey in the testes.
Are you?
What? I thought everyone said that was a absolutely great thing to
Did
do.
anyone say that?
Absolutely.
No?
Look,
I don't
I'll
know
be
what's
honest.
gonna get us. We go for it.
I may have missed when everyone unanimously agreed on it.
We're just going to the village.
What was it you said to Wilkes earlier? I think let's hear what you like.
This is a very different scenario to that. This is totally different. This is the donkey doing.
I can imagine it's going to kick you though. How are you going to kick a donkey in the balls and not get kicked yourself? Its legs are going to go shoot up over its back and get the goblin on its own back.
I'm gonna kick the donkey sideways in the balls because I'm walking beside the donkey.
Like Beckham. Is it? I got sports references.
No one's even gonna know. I'm just gonna kind of surreptitiously lift a boot into its exposed knackers.
I'm trying to figure out what to roll for this one. I'm thinking like just an agility roll.
Sleight of hand.
Beast law?
Beast law.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, not
Based
beast
on the
law.
season and the droopage, the wind.
The perfect
Sleight of
angle.
hand. Sleight of hand probably makes the most sense because I'm trying to do it
You tickle 'em.
surreptitiously.
I don't know what you're trying to do with your hand to the donkey. But yeah, sleight of...
Spot hit.
Be careful.
It's heard you.
Be careful what a
Little
crit
dwarf
fail
slapping-
does for a sleight of hand in this
slapping
situation.
the donkey's balls.
The donkey has heard you discussing this out loud, and it has fully retracted back into its body.
Just
so it's
giving a
spot hit.
donkey just that little subtle little sack tap. Just whoosh with the hand.
Blowing on it.
I'm not blowing on it. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to give. I don't want to like shatter its testicle either. I just want to give it enough of a fright that it's like
Yeah.
whoa and throws
It's like
Gob
a
off.
little pinky
Whoa!
middle finger flick, just a bam right onto. Give us sleight of hand.
Sleight of foot.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
All right. You succeeded, so I'll let you describe what happens.
Christoph is just walking beside the donkey and kind of just lifts his foot behind him straight into the donkey's left testicle, and the donkey does a huge big bray and kind of like bucks forward and throws Gob off over the front of the donkey.
Okay, perfect. Gob just stands up furious and like pulls out like his little scimitar he's got, and like starts like mouthing off at the donkey, and the other goblins are just losing their shit with laughter. And they're just pushing him away, telling him to, in their own language, to obviously put the weapon away. And everyone has a good laugh. No one's riding the donkey anymore, thanks to that. And you continue on this journey. It's depending. I don't know how much you guys are happy to speed ahead, but it is about 2 days worth of travel. What I can say is that the goblins make sure you're just as well fed, if not even more better off than they are. They're keeping you quite healthy, quite well fed. Gob has kind of is next to Mallory at some point to sort of ask a bit more about how that rabbit was killed, because it looked to be like expertly hunted. Was just very interested in your hunting prowess. Are there things that you guys want to discuss or try and talk to the goblins about that you'd be happy to expedite?
Wilgus will just try and laugh with the goblins and just be all chummy with them. And he might bring up adventure tourism from time to time as well.
Oh, franchise.
Oh yes. What will the how do you say, places of interest in the village? If you had to brag about your nicest architecture, which village building would it be?
There's like some sort of, they look at each other and they're cracking up at like the concept of like their village. They're finding the term village quite hilarious. And
An abode.
yeah. They what you managed to get out of them is that it was like at one point a mine or some sort of it was called Bothild's Lode, Lode, where there was originally used for mining, and it got flooded at some point, and this was the only sort of safe area that people stopped kind of going to, so that made it safe enough for them to take up residence there. But the idea of a village, hilarious.
It got flooded, you say?
Parts of the mine, yeah, were flooded.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
live in the mine?
Yeah. There's, from what you understand is there's like a big entranceway into this mine, and that's where they live. But some things happen deeper in the mine as well.
Things.
Is there any active mining operations still going on?
No active mining. This is kind of I'm trying to figure out how much they would share. How much are you sharing with them? I guess would get information back your way. I guess. Do you guys discuss anything to do with these statuette pieces with them?
Fuck no, surely not. No, God no. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Because it's a bit like when you're, upper middle class and you're trying to find common ground with someone who's clearly not. You can't sort of say, "Oh God, had the bloody Audi in the shop again this weekend."
Yeah.
Butler was late on Tuesday. I'm gonna have to say one of them. Oh. And they're going, "Yeah, I live in a fucking cave."
A flooded cave.
Yeah.
Cave so bad that other people abandoned it.
Yeah, there's like a mention of something called like the White Death.
That's what they call tuberculosis. That's what the name is.
Right.
Oh,
But
they all got the damp lung.
there's
TV.
there's a mention of this,
Okay.
like how dangerous the mines are, just due to this thing called the White Death, this massive sea serpent that like clearly lives deep down underneath in the mine, and that every now and then breaks up to the surface of the mining area, and it's just like they're just talking about being careful. They've lost a few good goblins that way. That kind of
I'll learn to ride the White Death into battle like June 2.
okay.
Yeah. Roll for beef law.
Yeah. Is there any information you guys would be wanting to get from the goblins?
I'm just a bit curious too. Can you tell us about this plant and that rock? And he'll just point at stuff as he's walking along with the goblins and asking about the local terrain and fauna and flora.
Yeah, there's like one goblin that is like standing next to you as well. He likes like your little headgear and stuff that you're wearing, and he likes you seem knowledgeable, and he wants to be knowledgeable as well. And everything you're pointing at, he's naming. But it doesn't seem like he really knows what he's talking about. Like he could be just making some stuff up on the spot.
Wilgus enjoys it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your load? So, what was the load? Gold? Silver?
It was
Platinum?
clearly brothels because it's called Brothels Lode, Digby.
Bothild.
Load.
Bothild.
Butthole.
Yeah, there's one of the goblins, sort of, you mentioned this Lode, and he's just instantly fucking angry. Stupid Bothild still hangs around, hates us all with a vengeance. You fucking bitch of it. Ah!
Oh, so it's named after a living person. Bothol.
Well, was living.
What? He still hangs around and he's dead?
Yes, her spirit sort of lingers. She's got secrets and she won't tell us because of her hatred of us folk.
Interesting. What does she look like?
Disgusting like the rest of you humans. Well, not you. You're kind of cute for a wolfkin.
Thank you. Oh, so she's a human.
That's right. Well, was. She was. Her spirit still is, I guess.
Why is it named after Bothold? Anyway, was she the discoverer of the Lode?
She doesn't tell us a goddamn thing. She's a racist.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
Did she have a tough upbringing, maybe? Tell us about her childhood.
Yeah. She won't tell us anything. We've asked everything. She won't tell us. Ugh.
Oh, you know her name, though. There's something.
Have you tried drawing
Running into
pictures
bed
on
for
the
the racist.
ground?
Yeah.
Pictures work well if people don't want to speak to you, or they could mime it out.
Is she protecting the area?
No, just
No,
hanging
she-
around.
Hanging around. Okay. And does she come out at night or in the day? Or
She's just kind of always there, not telling us what we
Always-
want to know.
does she float? You have legs?
She's got legs, but she floats.
Okay. Interesting.
Does she wiggle them, or does she just float,
Sometimes.
pretending to? Oh right.
I'd like to meet her.
Well,
Okay.
well, probably would like to meet you today. It's about goblins and...
Well, that's not very kind.
Tell us about your chieftain. What's their story?
They all just go, Maladuke. I don't know. It just seems like
I'll do it. I'll do it as well.
They just like go on about how how amazing she is, how powerful she is, how brave she is to be standing up against Azrahel Koth, which I did forget to mention in our recap, Adam. One of the things Grubb sort of let the team know about was that this chieftain is working against Azrahel Koth. She wants to obtain these statues so Azrahel can't obtain them themselves and therefore can't bring about the Sothmag, the evil.
So we're
Seth
like the
Seth
Allied
Mog.
forces.
Yes.
That's what Grub has told you. Yeah.
I think Grub's being lied to because I'm also a racist and goblins are dead.
Oh.
But yeah, so they're just like, as soon as you mentioned her, they just want to give you all. Oh, she's beautiful, she's strong, she's powerful. Yeah.
She got a man?
And there's laughter. Any man would be lucky.
So no.
Go for it,
That's
Digby.
right.
Yeah. I think Christoph
Digby
has
on the
got
hunt for
the
love.
skills. I've got a wife and 27 children.
We got the phone number off that maid.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
You're an absolute babe magnet. You
Oh, I
can't,
did.
I hope you bought your shitty stick to this fucking goblin town. You'll be needing it.
Well, yes, I have to beat them off.
That's the implication.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Like this back
And,
in town.
How did Marmaduke come to be in the chieftain position? Was it like a born into it kind of thing, or was there some sort of extraordinary battle where they prevailed?
Yeah, there's this is when the conversation continues as you journey along, and you learn, because you're so interested in details. They try and give you as much information about Maladuke as possible, and they see what information I actually have about how Maladuke came to her power, not power, but came into power. Let's see what I can find. Maybe nothing.
While the party's talking with the goblins, Wilgus will like to consistently bring up lots of irrelevant questions, like how much weight do you think Meladuke's clothes would be if they were wet? And what does she like to eat most if she could only pick two things, both of which she didn't like?
So the information you get out of these goblins. This is when you learn for the first time that the chieftain is an orc. It's an orc chieftain.
Oh.
And
What?
there was
What a twist.
There was a story. There was basically all of these. The presence of Azrahel Koth and all of his demonic servants caused all of Misty Vale's orcs to become concerned about the future of their future and the future of the Misty Vale. And several of the clans have banded together under one figure, and that figure was chosen to be Maladuke. Purely because of how powerful and fierce she is in battle.
Uh-oh. We're dealing with a warlord.
Oh.
We're going to win this, right,
Mallory?
Mallory?
Oh, I'm sure. She sounds lovely.
Good.
And they also mention obviously their love and support for it, and they all show off on their shoulders, their right shoulders. The mark of Maladuke, which is these two crossed meat hooks that have been branded into their upper shoulder.
Well, at least they're all not at max health. That'll help us later if necessary.
Why the meat hooks? Just out of interest.
I believe they are symbolic of her favorite weapons.
Oh.
The butcher
That's
of...
exciting.
I was quite looking forward to seeing her, but now I'm a little bit apprehensive.
Maybe we see her from a distance, and we could put a cage around her, and then we would be safe in the cage.
Can you cage your chieftain for our visit?
It's only polite.
Where I'm from, that's a great honour to be caged.
Maybe we could get tattoos.
Soon enough, you're traversing through what becomes a ravine set into the backdrop of the Kama Mountains. And it's only a matter of hours after there that the ravine ends in this rock wall or a stone gate. No doubt magnificent in its day, just now hangs wearily on broken hinges. A faint light seeps through this gate, whose beautiful runes have been completely destroyed by vandals. It looks, now that you're seeing it, there's damage pretty much everywhere on the external side, external facing of Bothild Lode. And there's like some talking between the goblins here. Can I get a languages roll from everyone, because they are speaking Goblin?
I have a 7 and I got a 13.
Lucas passes with a 9.
Ooh. 3 beats 7.
Nice. Wilgus and Mallory, you two you're just picking up. They're behind you, sort of leading Badonkadonk towards the gates. And you can hear them sort of talking about your armor. They're concerned Meladuke is not going to be happy that they haven't stripped you of your armor at this point. That's the conversations happening behind you. They're completely unaware that you're overhearing or listening, but they have come to a stop.
I will. I'll tap one of the little goblins and say, "Should I arrive with a gift for Meladuke?"
They sort of break their little huddle, and look towards you. There's nothing you can bring her, I don't think, unless you've got one of those statuette pieces.
I've got some nice rabbit. And she starts looking around on the side of the path for like cute edible flowers and things for presentation, because it's a chieftain, so you can't just turn up with a slab of meat. It's got to be beautiful.
That's fair. They've kind of just ignored what you're sort of dealing with at this point. Their concern goes back to discussing, do we just take it off them? Do we ask nicely? How are we going to get this armor off them? Something else you've noticed is either side of these gates, quite high up, maybe 3 meters up, there's these holes, and you can sort of see up in there. They look to be like garrisons of sorts. There you can see in the darkness, and there just some shapes moving around.
Holes in the
stone,
cliff,
in the cliff, yeah.
Oh. Can I see if they are like little goblins?
Yeah.
I'm imagining.
Yeah. You Digby, you take a little moment just to sort of eye one up. And yeah, you can see there's like a goblin moving around up in the one to the left of the gate, and you look over to the right, and there's another one hanging out, looking down, kind of peering out now, watching, a little concerned. Why there's a group of goblins and strangers hanging out outside their abode. I'm just going to keep using.
I'm going to yell out. Can I see if they live in an abode? Do they look like they have little bow and arrows?
You can't really tell at this point. They're too high up, too shaded.
Grub, is that you? Grub.
Nice. The goblin sticks his head out and says, "You're looking for Grub?"
Yes, a friend of ours.
Okay, shit, okay, 1 minute. And you just hear, like, you see him disappear from the right garrison, because he's just gone. So that's just happening. That's happening in the background. These two of the goblins sort of approach the group now and says, "Look, we've been thinking, and I think Meladuke would really appreciate it." And he looks back to his group, and they're all just kind of like nodding. "If you give us your armor, and we'll look after it."
Will we get a receipt?
Sure, you have my word.
I thought we had a deal. Did we not?
It's just that if
We had a wee compromise back there. You know what a compromise is, don't you?
3 days you've trusted us.
it's just we've had an incident before with Maladuke and bringing her people that we hadn't fully taken their things, and we lost a good goblin that day, and I don't want to join him.
Well, seems like we should turn around and go back. It's not going to work out. Sorry about that, lads. Ah, well, best intentions. Good luck finding your way things. Come on, team.
You hear this
Let's
kind
go.
of like slapping of skin on stone, getting louder and louder, and just this familiar face just darts out of the gate. It says, "Yeah, you've come. You found it." Ah.
Hello.
Hello, Grub.
Hey, Grub!
Grab.
And he's like walks over to Mallory and he's like getting your little feathered hand in his hand. He's like shaking your hand with both of his, and he's just like walking around. Hey everyone, nice to see you again. He's like tapping Wilgus on the back and giving like Digby just like a little scratch on the side of his face. Kristoff! And puts his hand up for like a little high five.
I enthusiastically high-five him, but not so much that it's a display of overt strength.
You guys have absolutely played along with this like Grub and this friendliness and the bond that it's been so long. I'm so glad that you followed up with what I said, coming to meet Maladuke. And he's making his way over to the other group of the goblins. He's like, I've got it from here, guys. Don't worry. They're with Grub. Grub will look after. And the goblins are also like looking at each other, and they shrug and they just head on into the through the gates, leaving you guys there with Grub. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he's like pulling some of your weapons off Badongadonk and handing them back to all of you.
Thank you very much, Grub.
Yeah.
What a little goer you are.
Nice work, Grab. Do you know, Grab? You're my favourite person named Grab.
Thank you. And he slaps his like little goblin hands together. And he says, "So you've brought the piece for Maladuke, yes?"
Well, we're going to get one. We're going to help Maladuke get one, remember?
And the one from Ridamound, yes.
Well,
And he like
I'm gonna look
leans
at the party.
in next to like Digby, like real close. Come on, you can tell Grub.
I'm going to peer back at the party with pleading eyes, pleading puppy dog eyes. What the fuck?
I'm so glad you brought this up, Grub, because I do have, and he pulled out of his pocket, one silver piece for you, which we kind of agreed on before that you'd be our scout, and I'm willing to make it one silver piece. That's what I'm offering.
He like
So,
grabs the silver piece and like jams it into like this little pocket in his tiny little pants. And he's like, and he taps his head. He taps his like, I understand. I will not say a word. But
Oh, yes, that's totally what I meant. Thank you, Grub, you goblin.
Okay, let's go meet Maladuke. And we'll take our 5-minute break. We'll take our little 5-minute break there.
Ooh.
Nice.
The further towards this abode, the more stressed I get.
The becoming friends with Grub, I think, has very, very much helped you out in this situation. Instead of taking his head for later, I think that has definitely helped.
Or using his face as a disguise.
Because
There's still time.
there is still
You want the face moist as you walk in, right?
Oh, yeah.
still
Not
dripping.
drooping.
Yeah. That was like in Storm King's Thunder. We wore the fire giant's son's head
That's right.
to try and then got on another white person's
Quite a
shoulders
plan.
to try and pretend to be the fire giant king's son.
Oh wow.
And it did not go down great. Yeah.
It is like a mythology thing, eh? Like Greek mythology or something.
Yeah.
They wore the head of the god's son.
Yeah, it does.
And it worked.
It worked for a bit. I just want to say thank you to everyone who stopped by today. I saw I saw Linden Hood in there. I saw Drop Shadow in there. I also saw yesterday's model Christian, who I thought he's probably being quiet because he's meant to be playing another game with a group of people at this point. But I just imagine he's just got like one earpiece in. He's just like listening away. Huh? Oh, yeah, D20, yeah. That's what I imagine is happening. And Vancouver by Night said, greetings, adventurers, a little while ago as well. So, hi, thanks for joining us, Vancouver by Night. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, Drop Shadow? He just says, hi, crew.
Hello.
Yeah. I was trying to think of if I had another question we could discuss during our break, but I haven't got one. But do you guys have one, sort of a thing to discuss, whether it's about Dragonbane or any other tabletop RPG or anything? Drop Shadow says, nice to hear the Gobbo voice again. I know, I've tried to make it at least a little different to Billy Goblin. I wanted to make sure that like Billy Goblin's voice is still Billy Goblin, and I just needed to bring like a small variation for the goblins in Dragonbane. But yeah, I do miss Billy Goblin. Billy Goblin was great. Have you guys been playing?
What?
Oh, you've got something? Yeah.
I was like, how often do you keep some you've got a party in a game? How often do you keep one of their decisions, say to kill a goblin or to make friends with a goblin, and then you just keep it and sit on it, and then later in the game you're just like, consequences.
Yeah.
And just
Oh shit! Is that my internet?
suddenly
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, oh yeah, that goblin that we're wearing is the son of the goblin king.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
There was a real harsh consequence in Curse of Strahd that I think I probably went a little too hard, where they made this decision to let this one character travel back to his village alone. He'd been there through, I think it was something like 70 episodes, 70 sessions, right? But fighting alongside them, helping them out. And it got to a point where they're like, all right, you go back to your village and stir everyone up, get them on our side. And he was like, okay, who's going to come along with me? And they're like, we trust you can get there, do your thing, and we're going to go this way and go do our thing. And then maybe like 5 or 6 sessions later, Strahd showed up with his head in a bag, just like,
Boom.
Oh,
it's just like,
oh no, you fridge motivated them.
yeah.
You fridged them.
Yeah, it was just like, well, you made like a really, I feel it was a real bad decision. Like Strahd is like the menace of this whole place, and you let this one guy out by himself to go and start a war against Strahd. He's gone. He's unfortunately gone, and that was brutal. The worst thing was I delivered it right after a really tough moment. The whole campaign was so brutally down and rough on the players. I'm amazed we got through it.
It was brutal, but it sounds like it made the story amazing. I bet everyone was like, "Oh my gosh!"
People were
just freaking out.
Yes,
and they're ready to kill.
Like, it legitimately depressed some of our players. Like, it legitimately upset them. So yeah. Adam, I was just talking about the delivery of Ismark's.
Ismark. It was like 7, wasn't it? The end of 7.
Yeah. He just delivered like a sack on the ground in front of them, like a bloody sack. That was it, and there was no idea of who it was or what it was.
Yeah, I guess spoiler alert for anyone who is watching or wants to watch Strahd. Turn off now. Don't listen for the next minute or so.
Or the previous few minutes.
We had a protracted conversation about how we might bring Ismark back, and I feel like there was a lengthy conversation about bringing him back as a goblin or gnome? That's right, a gnome. Shannon was just desperate to bring him back as a gnome for some reason.
Yeah. It was
And I won't
brutal.
say any more than that.
Spoiler
Well,
alert.
he would have liked it.
Yeah, but I like consequences in video games, and tabletop RPGs. Sorry, I like consequences. I like holding on to something where the players have gone, yeah, let's do this thing, and then wait till they kind of forget about it, and then the consequence happens. That can be fun.
Boom.
Yeah,
He's a gnome.
yeah. Drop Shadow says he'll never enjoy another dump again. Yeah, he often excused himself to use the bathroom. As we were talking about Ismark, the gnome. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to Grub. I will. How am I doing with all my notes that I've got? Yeah, cool. Following along well. Let's bring you guys onto the map.
Whoa.
Hey, Grub, I was just wondering, have you still got that bandage and that half locust I gave you?
Yes, they're in my room.
That's good, because I was wondering if I desperately need to escape this cave very quickly because I need to answer the call of nature. Is there any way, a secret way out that you could tell me so I could do that and not be impolite to Meliduc?
There's only two main ways in and out. You're looking at one of them. The other is down with Meliduc right now. She's kind of at the other exit.
Okay, I'll just hold it.
Just the two.
Thanks, Grub.
And he leads you through the gates into this really interesting looking sort of entrance hall. There are deep wheel tracks in the stone floor of this gently sloping corridor. This corridor is leading down at a relatively not like lenient angle. It's not too steep. And it just looks like these tracks have just been created thanks to centuries of just heavy and precious cargo. And then just inside this broken stone gate is a portcullis that's wedged half open. And at the end of the corridor, how many meters? About 10 meters away, is a gate above which the ceiling glitters like a starry sky. Like it looks like there's just a bunch of little crystals that have been embedded in the ceiling area above that the far gate that sort of twinkle like out the night sky.
Is that part of the Lode?
This is the Lode. This is you're entering the Lode.
Yeah, but I more mean, is that kind of the stuff that was mined?
Ah, right. No, this looks like it's been placed purposefully.
Oh.
Yeah. And as you're making your way through, Grub is a little nervous, and he's looking up at the roof. And now that you're looking as well, there's a bunch of these little holes in the roof as well. And he just sort of shouts out, just me, guys, just Grub and his friends, please. We're just passing through. And he sort of edges his way further down the corridor, beckoning for you guys to follow along. You can hear goblin chatter above you.
Hey, Grub, are these murder holes above us?
And he like spins around with his fingers pointed towards you guys. Yes!
Oh, nice! Very good.
Okay. And he gets to the edge of
You're
this.
muted, Shannon, if you're talking.
I'm sorry. Does it look like hot oil or something that comes out of there? What?
Yeah, it looks like there's you don't know what could be tipped down, but it does look like something could be sort of tipped down. It's the holes run basically the whole way of this walkway above you.
Guys, just before we go further into the goblin abode, should we have a plan or?
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
point.
don't worry. Let's go.
Let's go.
I have a question for Grub. How do we address Maladuke? What do we say? Like, your greatness, your holy chieftain. What do we say to be polite?
He like scratches his head and like bits of his scalp and fall down onto the ground as he scratches quizzically on his head. I'm not sure. She doesn't normally take non-goblin and non-orc visitors, so try and be nice. Respectful, I think is the word.
Respect.
Goblins are all about respect, as far as I remember. Oh no, that's a different thing.
The sound of like goblin chatter is getting louder and louder the more you're moving towards the eastern part of this corridor. And you can also hear like the growling of what sounds like wolves, or hopefully not, but sounds like there could be some wargs in here as well. And Grub pushes open.
Delicious.
yeah. Grub pushes open the doorway into this larger area, and the sort of the crystals that line the top of this hallway alongside the holes as well, the sparkly crystals, kind of have almost like a pleasing night sky aesthetic to them. And as you make your way and follow behind Grub, that sort of night sky look stretches out and disappears upwards as the corridor gives way to a large open room. And in this open room, just in front of Grub there's this big headless statue with a double-headed axe raised towards the ceiling. And the air, this is when, so now that these doors are open, you're getting a feel for how cold and dank this place is. And there's kind of just like a dreamy haze of like fog or atmosphere, I guess, in this giant room.
Oh, dank.
It's dank. Yeah.
Purple haze. Wow. So is it like a mist? Where is it coming from?
It's just like atmosphere. It's just because it's so damp. It's just so wet and so damp. And you remember they mentioned something about the mines that have been flooded. And as you enter the room, there seems to be the chatter of goblins just like stops. And the eyes of 8 goblins just all sort of like turn and watch you all enter. Some of them look a little familiar, but most of them don't. There's like a couple from the group that brought you here, but the rest you're unfamiliar with. And they all have like weaponry on their hip, but they look like they're this is kind of just like a almost a living space, sort of maybe a recreational space for these goblins.
Brick room.
Yeah.
Mallory, have you ever met an orc before?
No, I haven't. Are they nice?
No, I haven't met one. I thought you might have, because you're an adventure and tourist guide.
Oh no, this is my first adventure tourism. It's very exciting.
Oh,
Usually I just go hunting.
Huh.
Well, it's a
What?
fine time to find out.
I mentioned this back at the inn.
I'm not
I
very
thought
good at
he was just
listening.
being modest.
Yeah,
You were like 5 tankards in, admittedly, but full disclosure.
you're doing so well, Mallory. We're all alive.
You're all doing very well, and that's why I'm always so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Should we do
that's
a
great.
last team clap,
Nice.
maybe, since this might be
Put
the
our hands in the middle. Yay,
Yeah.
team!
Here's the orcs being small.
But with big heads, because they'll be worth more.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You said the loud bit quiet and the quiet bit loud.
Grub is like nervous again. You've seen Grub nervous, and he's definitely nervous again as he's watching, sort of like looking towards all the other goblins, and he's just sort of just like just here to see just taking them to see Maladuke, here to help with the plan and everything. It's okay. It's all right, everybody. and everyone's just, all the other goblins are kind of like just sitting down, sort of like watching. One of them's picking his nose and flicking it down into the ground in front of you all. Another one like spits and gets back to like this little game that he's playing with rocks with another goblin. But there's like tension in the air as you make your way through. You can hear the sound of what you can now see as wargs down to past the southern entrance. Looks like there's some sort of like warg stalls. And you can hear one, well, you can see one and you can hear what could be others. And then to the north is another entrance as you're making way through. You're just slowly seeing like into that room is like a bunch of carts. It's like a bunch of stalls for carts. That seem to be, and they're not really in a great state. They look to be, most of them are broken, maybe used for parts and stuff like that. So
That's what we need. We need a cart for our
I
deck.
like what you've done with the place.
and
Right on.
We can put all our junk in the trunk that's attached to Badunkadunk.
Yes.
I think we should do this right now. Like, Meladu can wait. Let's buy a cart. I've still got 7 silver pieces. What do you guys think? We could talk to the resident cart merchant.
Well, maybe we can get a deal when we meet Marmaduke.
by the way, I will say that there's no way that you can either, I'll leave it up to you guys as a group to decide. But Donkadonk could have been left outside the front at the gates, or you could bring Badonkadonk in, but there's a chance that he may not go much further than here just because you're heading into such the mining area. It looks like Grub is sort of heading you towards what Christoph can see above the eastern wall there. He can see written in Dwarvish above the door, it says Bothild's Domain.
Oh, Bothild.
We're in Bothild's domain, I see.
And Grub looks to you and looks to what is just gibberish on the door above the door. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, can we get a no eat guarantee if we leave Badonkadonk here?
I think we should follow Grub's recommendation on where to safely store Dank.
In that case, I think he would have suggested outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Done.
this,
We should put one strand of Badonkadonk's hair over her eyes so we can see if someone disturbs her.
Oh.
I learnt that in
If anyone's
my nonsense head.
picked our donkey.
You got it.
think of it as done. I like to think that Wilgus has done that. Just one thread of hair over its eyes. He turns around to go into the Bothild's Lode, and it just the wind blows it down onto the ground.
Success.
Yeah. Grub's still quite nervous. He gets to the entranceway that says Bothild's Domain, and he turns around and just says, "Just be very. There's a lot of water. If you see anything that's quite deep, just stick to the sides of the walls. Just don't go near. Try and avoid what you can." Okay. And he just heads off further into
Goodness.
this area. All right, let's bring you on to yet another map.
Whoa. Unheard of, really. 2.
Yeah. More than one room in a session? Do we do that?
What?
Next episode.
Okay, this through this doorway, it just gets even darker. Do you guys have tokens?
it's pitch
there?
black.
Sure does.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
All right, I'll bring Grub in, who lights a.
Is that you?
What's going on down there? Who's that touching my bottom?
Oh, it's
black light.
It's pretty good. Oh, no.
It's you.
Actually,
Yes, you're
Me.
touching it yourself.
Oh, I'm always doing that.
Both hands.
That's the weird thing about it.
How do you walk like that, Christoph? I use my feet.
Well, I like to sort of push my pelvis out a little bit.
Grub has lit a little torch. He's grabbed a torch off the side of the wall before he goes in and lights it up and heads off down into this mine. It's cold, it's damp, it smells incredibly musty, but the ceiling is high and tiny little droplets of water just form this ghostly haze that makes it really hard to see much more than a few meters ahead at any specific point.
I'm going to light my lantern.
Okay, perfect. We'll get that lit as well. I can just do that by doing this. Your lantern is now lit. What you're seeing as well as you enter in is just dwarven artwork sort of sporadically put on the walls here. And it's only
This takes me back.
it's like less than 10 meters in, and you see that like Grub raises his arms up as he starts like stepping into ever like deepening water. It's just like instantly there's water here.
Christoph, if I may, isn't this from your dwarven ancestry? Sort of?
Aye, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Should we
so
murder
beautiful.
everyone?
Sorry, what?
Because this is dwarven stuff, and they've kind of all shat in the place and goblined it up.
I
They
don't
probably
know if
did
I'd
do
go
that,
that.
actually.
I don't know if I'd go that far, Willigus. It seems like it was abandoned and flooded, and they're just living in the ruins now. I
Okay.
don't know that it was like a colonial type of thing.
Actually,
Stolen land back. Actually, that would be my new hashtag, land back for the whole land. I've been radicalized by Williams' comment.
Dwarven mines for the dwarves. Yeah.
Christoph, can you give me a myths and legends roll?
Oh.
Because actually,
Legend.
because you're a dwarven, there probably is some stuff. Actually, and give a boon. Throw a boon on it.
1 times boon.
Chuck the boon on.
Okay. Myths and legends. I've got a 6 in it, so this will be. Oh, that's not good. I don't recognize any of my peoples.
No, while you don't know the entire story about Bothild, the name does. Now that you've sat on it for a bit, it kind of rings a bell. There's a story you heard of a person that bore the name of Bothild who was desperate to search for riches, and there were stories of a mine that she just. She instructed her workers just to dig and keep digging and unfortunately cracked through into some sort of underground mass of water and flooded it completely. The terrible beast was let loose. And
But what did?
and there was no real understanding of what happened to Bothild. There was no ending to that story. That's all you can really piece together. From
Bothild was a human, though, you were saying.
Yes, yeah.
But then the workforce were dwarves.
Well, actually,
Here
I'm
we go.
gonna check. He definitely looks human, but now I'm confused.
With the artists with dwarves.
Do they have a big beard?
No, maybe let's have a look. Actually, that's a good question.
So, Christoph, your emotions are okay with this place that we're in? I just wanted to check on that. I'm all about the emotions.
Well, it's just a real sense of nostalgia, really. I haven't seen my own people's works for a good couple of weeks now.
Yeah. If you flip that switch and we want to hurt everyone, you tell me straight away, all right?
You'll be the first to know, Wilgus. You'll be the
Thank
first
you.
to know.
Thank you.
We're gonna say that Bothild. I'm gonna retcon that. Bothild, not a human, but a dwarf. That's like, maybe that's part of the thing. You've heard, like, people have been talking about her, the goblins especially, as if she was a human, but you've like pieced it together with your nice understanding of the dwarven history. You're like, wait a minute, that's a dwarven name that was written in dwarven. Something's not adding up here. She must have been dwarven. It's a dwarven
Goblins
story.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, goblins are dumb, not Reagan. The goblins.
Yes.
Idiot goblins.
Hey, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
anything right.
No, it was just, there's a lot of information that these goblins.
Fucking idiot. It's just.
It's-
can't get
Can't even
fucking
tell what a
stories
goblin
straight.
or a
It's just, look, the goblins have a lot of information that they've been reading.
To really like rely on this kind of stuff to progress the story, and these fucking idiot goblins.
We may as well start all over again.
Yeah.
We can go back to outskirts, guys.
I would've-
Like, this isn't working out.
I'd do everything differently if I knew that Bothild was a dwarf.
We would have brought the donkey in to see these works.
The goblin grub continues. He's making his way like there's clear, shallower and deeper parts that he's making his way through, and he's trying to stay on like the shallowest parts of this this corridor that he's in. And as he nears this intersection off to the right, it sort of branches off. You see that the water off to that right is just like so dark. It's almost pitch black. And Grub almost like presses himself against the opposing wall and shuffles away from it, heading north before getting his footing again in the most shallowest bits and heading forth. And he keeps doing that at each time there's an intersection. Anytime he sees that deep water, he just hugs that wall, trying to stay as far away from that as possible.
Oh, Grub, is this where what is it? Your friends were telling us about it on the way here. What was it called?
And he just like, he's like looking back, he's stopped and he's like looking back at with like terrified eyes. And he's like, his teeth are chattering, like he's like legitimately concerned. And he just like puts his finger up. He's like, the White Death. The White Death. It's in here. Shh. It's almost at that same point that he's like telling you to shush. The water next to him starts bubbling, and this big sort of tail of this white sea serpent just raises up, slams against the mining wall, and crashes back down into the depths of the water.
Oh, I saw it.
And
It's like whale watching at Kaikoura.
Grub is like closing his eyes, like pressing against the cold mine shaft like walls. As the water like
All the adventure tourism kids are like, ooh,
yeah.
the majesty of the mountains.
Do they sell that as like a plushie at the end? Or?
Great idea, Christoph.
100%. How much money have you all got on
Make
you?
little glass ones.
Yes. Etched into like acrylic. Is there more than one of the White Death or just one?
As far as what you've heard, just the one.
I wonder if we should try and kill the White Death. Maybe not now, but at some point maybe we should try and like Moby Dick it as like a thing to get the goblins would be happy about. You know, that could be our white whale.
You had me at killing, Christoph. I am on board for this plan right now.
The tail that we saw, is it like tentacly tail or fishy tail or
Like sea serpent.
tail?
Sea serpent tail.
Like a
Just-
snake.
Yeah, like a snake. Like an enormous,
Like water dragon?
like a giant eel kind of creature.
I think
Yeah.
it might be stupid because it put its tail up through the water.
Ooh.
We didn't even see its head. That's a strange maneuver. Like, I used my head first.
It was mooning us.
It'll be easy to kill. We just need to chop it up.
Grub.
Sushi.
How long is this sea serpent?
He just like shrugs back and is just like, shh. He's almost like crying with like desperation to have you be quiet.
Okay, sorry. This would all be solved if you just drain your load. We wouldn't have to sneak through it.
That's a good point, Digby. Do you reckon there's a plug at the lower level so we could just pop it out and all the water would
blow it.
flow away?
So are you guys like literally just talk? I feel like you guys are just not heeding.
No, I'm definitely I'm doing exactly like Grabber's doing.
All right,
I'm
so you're
backing
up
up against the wall.
Yeah. How about the rest of you?
He's walking, we're walking.
Yeah, Wilgus.
Wilgus wasn't taking it seriously until
Cool.
the three in front of him all started hugging to the wall.
Yeah.
And he tones down his babble a bit.
How about Christoph? Is he taking Grub seriously?
Yeah, all those questions I had were more like maybe we should do this as players in the game at some point rather than like, oh, hey, Grub, should we go and kill that thing?
Okay, cool.
I'm keeping a vigilant eye out
Yeah. Okay, cool.
and looking for weak spots on the White Death if we see any kind of blowhole or gills or soft underbelly.
Okay, actually, give me a beast lore roll. So let's say that Christoph, like, as this tail like came up out of the water, Christoph is like trying to quickly analyze.
Ooh, I actually succeeded.
Great. And where's the information about that? Basically, yeah, there is like in an instant, like time slowed down for Christoph just for a moment, and there's like this scarred. There was like this scarred area on just a chunk of that tail that looked specifically like damaged and weak. Like the skin was thinner in that area, thanks to the scarring that had occurred.
Now, famously, scar tissue is much thicker, isn't it?
It's delicate, is that? Yeah.
Is it?
Is it
No,
actually?
it's okay. So you've said there's a weak spot on the
There's
tail.
a circle of scars, but the skin in between it is not scarred, and that looks really weak.
Okay.
It's all scar tissue except for one.
All of
spot.
them is scar tissue. He's been
You
scraped.
never been scar tissue.
He's been,
Dr. Christoph.
he's been
It's a cross
scraping.
here.
He's been scraping into walls for 100, 200 years, except for that one spot that looks really weak.
Like Smaug. He's missing a scale.
Okay. Yeah. Well, did anyone remember to drag an MRI machine down here so we could get some imaging on this fucking thing? Okay, good to know. Good to know. Weak spot.
Anyone got a
on
bottle
tail.
of rosehip oil to smooth out the scarring so that it's less obvious?
Hyaluronic acid.
I've only got Moroccan oil and argan oil. What an idiot.
But your hair looks amazing.
Digby, I will say, as you pass the corridor that was on your left, just previously, there was like a faint bluish glow coming from down that corridor, but Grub seems to have just ignored it and is continuing to head north.
A faint bluish glow. I will look. And can I actually use my ability, Treasure Hunter?
There is nothing. He's sort of heading west, but there is like a feel. You can activate this ability. How does this work for Digby? Like flavor wise.
It's more scent wise. He puts his nose to the ear and sniffs. When he's at a crossroads, he can tell which direction, using his nose, smells most expensive.
Yeah, definitely the east.
The east?
Definitely
But,
the east.
not the east behind me, or the northeast, or the south?
Like almost directly east. And you've got that kind of corridor just ahead of you as well. That branches off.
Or ahead of me, to the east. That
Yeah,
one.
yeah. This one here. This area here.
That one seems like expensive, but it looks like deep water.
From what you can see, it's just shallow water at that point. From what you can see, there might be deeper water further on, but from what your light is lighting up, it is just this shallow water. So, and then you've got this blue glow coming from around this sort of corner to the west.
Oh,
But no treasure scent coming from that direction. Nothing expensive.
so Christoph is right behind me. Christoph, your people, do they have anything, any sort of blue glowing parts of their culture?
Bluetooth, yeah, that signifies that it's in hearing mode.
Oh, is it blinking fast?
I think I'll have to defer to the DM to.
No, there's nothing specifically dwarven. That is a very similar blue glow to what you saw in Riddermount, I guess. The light coming off the lady at the table.
Oh,
no.
magic. Magic items, even though my nose isn't picking up anything expensive down there.
Got ghosts.
Yes, ghosts. Yeah, ghosts.
Well,
I'm going to hurry.
They did mention the spirit of Bothild.
It could be the spirits of the great, famously dwarven leader. Bothild resides down there. I don't know if we want to be getting off the beaten path, though, with the white death looming and
Yes.
grab his egg guide.
There's like a bubbling in the water in front of Grub, and he just quickly darts off to the east, around the corner.
Can I quickly look to the east to see where
Yeah.
that expensive?
But just with the amount of atmosphere that is sort of picked up in this area, just with how damp and cold this area is, the lantern light isn't pushing as far in as you might hope, and you can only see maybe 10 meters ahead of you. And there's just a bit of water, a bit of shallow water on the stone in front of you, and it just disappears off into darkness.
Oh, I'll be back, expensive thing. And then I hurry to follow the rest.
Yeah, Grub continues to stick to the edges of this mine shaft as the water sort of starts to get shallower and shallower, and he picks up his pace and just sort of runs a couple of meters just to make sure he's clear of the water.
How deep is the water on us?
It's probably up to sort of mid-thigh on in the shallow parts. You can see that it probably gets up to maybe shoulder depth in some of the deeper areas, and then you've got like the darker water that it looks bottomless. At this point, you're starting to hear multiple voices speaking. Well, let's can everyone just give me a languages roll, please?
Fail.
Oh, success!
Cool. Mallory and Wilgus. I think all of you recognize it as the language of the orcs. Mallory and Wilgus, I think you can pick up on some words if you were to hear it spoken slowly. Like, it's not something you guys speak well. At this point, it's echoing around, and you can't really pick up any specific words at this point. Grub sort of just turns around to you and just quietly says, "We're almost there. Maladuke, it's probably the best time to tell you that Maladuke may not be happy to see you. But Grub will make everything okay."
Thank you, Grub. It's great having an ambassador like you.
Is there any protocol that we should be following?
Probably removing your armour.
Yes. Just don't reach for your weaponry. And stand strong. She can smell fear.
Oh,
Well, she'll probably smell you coming around the corner then, champ. You're shitting yourself.
And Grub continues, like, splashes through the last little bits of water as the cavern opens up into this large room. And there's a brick furnace on the opposite side of the room that is absolutely glittering in runes. And it stretches from the floor to the ceiling, spreading its light through this vast mountain hall. It smells of burnt flesh and hair. There's like a boar that is roasting in this furnace, with another boar sort of left off to the side. And in the middle of the room, gathered around a minecart, is a group of orcs engaged in a heated argument. There's also 4 little goblin scouts that are sort of standing guard behind them, watching this entranceway. And as Grub stands into this hallway, the orcs stop speaking for a minute and then get back into their heated discussion. And the goblins are just like, "What are you doing here, Grub? What's going on?" What are the rest of you doing? Are you following Grub into this area?
I'll supplicate.
I will get my little bundle of meat and flowers ready.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Wilgus will find one wing of the locust that he cut several days ago and just hold it in front of him.
Okay.
Stupid man.
Yeah. Okay. So, Christoph, what does it look like to the goblin scouts as Christoph enters this room?
I think the minute I'm in sight of people, I kind of drop down to one knee and hold out my palms open to show that I'm not carrying anything, and am kind of bowing in respect.
Cool. The moment you step in and you're showing your sort of hands open, all of the scouts withdraw their weapons. Shing! The sound of them being unsheathed. The 2 orcs and this orc chieftain all reach for their weapons as well. And Grub, startled, just sort of goes and sort of hides in behind you, Christoph. And Meladuke, with her weapon drawn, shouts out, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
Sort of hoping Grub would take the lead on this one. But if he's hiding behind me, then I guess Christoph maybe mumbles under his breath something like, "Oh, great Maladuke, we come with our greatest respects and an offer of help."
The goblins start to just sort of encircle that entryway with you and Grub behind you. And the 2 orcs sort of take up position behind, and Meladuke takes a step forward. She's very suspicious of why anyone would be here, and she spots Grub. "Grub, what are you doing?" And Grub's like, and sort of weasels his way out from around behind Christoph.
Meladuke, I think they're able to help us. I think they can help us with our search for the pieces, for the statuette. I'm sorry for bringing them here. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me, Meladuke.
It's just this cowering mess in front of you, Christoph.
Good job, Grub. You're doing well.
Meladuke sort of points her weapon towards Christoph, sort of over the shoulders of these 2 goblin scouts in front of her.
"And how is it that you, a mere dwarf, could help us?"
Well, first of all, they told me that you were beautiful, but they didn't quite tell me just how beautiful you were.
Digby, he's going after your girl. What are you going to do?
He's got smooth moves.
She just like lets out this like burst of air from her nostrils.
It's working.
I ask you again, dwarf.
Oh, sorry. I was taken aback by your beauty. We're very experienced seekers of all sorts of treasures, and we heard that we could be bringing ye a treasure, and to serve ye would be one of the great honours of our lives, I think. Especially the duck, she's great. Kind of pointing to the fact that there's other people.
Yeah, this is when like she sees Mallory and Digby and Wilgus in the corridors behind.
Wilgus will wave the little locust wing.
Yeah, Mallory, big smile, comes forward, presents nice little bit of rabbit with flowers and leaves all over it.
One of the goblin scouts just snatches it and tosses it behind them into the pile where the other boar is. And Meladuke sort of just gives you a nod. It's not thanks, but it's a nod. It's acceptance of this gift that you've brought.
I mean, that could be goblin manners for thank you very much. So I
Sure.
won't comment on it.
Sure. Digby?
Yeah. Digby will also take a step forward and say, "Greetings, noble folk. We come to help. As we have mentioned, we heard that you are enemies of Ezreal."
Yeah, okay. Give me a persuasion roll, please.
Okay. 12, and I rolled a 13. I might push that.
Okay.
10.
Nice.
Yes, Azrael. So, Grub, you have brought me help indeed. And Grub is like fist bump. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah. He's like, he's like so stoked. But then sort of like snaps and just like tries to compose himself.
Yes, and I have reason to believe they may have a statue piece on them already.
Shush.
And he's like, and he gets his like that little silver coin back out and like hands it up to like Wilgus.
Oh, that was such a good joke. Grub, you son of a bitch.
Good one. We did hear that there is a possibility of one being located near a giant spider to the north, and that's why we've come here, to aid you in finding that piece, which will surely put Ezreal down into the ground. Is that where he lives? The ground?
Yeah, underneath like the lake, I believe. Something along those lines. As far
Deeper
as
into the ground then.
Deeper. Melduke says, the spider, that was like a guess. I'm not 100% sure if there's a piece there or not, but
Not handy?
It's close enough to warrant investigation.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a clue. What makes you think that it's something to do with the big spider?
No, we've lost a few men to the spiders within that area. They've got to be protecting something that's worthwhile.
Right.
Might be more spiders.
And she like
Come all this way. And this is just
New
by
favorite
spiders.
character. New favorite character. This is amazing. Like starting with that bluster of like this great warlord, and then like absolutely drops her fucking nuts the minute the first question comes. I don't really know. I'm not really that confident. Maybe I'm probably wrong. Grumbling.
Well, we've died a lot, so there's probably a chess piece there.
Is it true that you have a piece?
Well, that's something we can't divulge unless we are sure we have an ally.
Shut up.
And if we did, it wouldn't be on us, but with our group, which is, I can divulge, it's called the Truth Society.
Oh,
You're right, Digby. We have an army.
Yeah.
Yes, we have an army called the Truth Society, who's also enemies of Azrael.
Meladuke just cracks up at hearing like Truth Society, and she's just
Truth Social.
Truth Society. Oh my God, how gullible could you be? Truth Society. If someone tells you they're part of the Truth Society, it doesn't ring any bells for you guys.
I said the same thing, Maladuke.
And
Hold on.
she like looks to the other orcs. People think we're not smart.
What are you saying? Like red flags? Is what you're saying? Like
Good looking, though.
I know of the dragon worshippers. I know of Sathmog's cult following, but Truth Society.
We could rename our army if you like. How about Blood Gutsers?
It's like calling yourself the I'm Not Lying Society.
Oh, that would be a good name, wouldn't it?
And she's like, so you've been working with someone hiding their true identity. Have you found
That's
one of the
ironic,
pieces?
isn't it? Now that you've said that, that's a real irony that the Truth Society won't divulge that many truths.
That is what I am saying.
I agree. I'm on your side.
Wait, you're on her side?
Well, we're all on the same side.
One of the orc chieftains goes, they're a splintered group. They're not going to last long.
Hold on. So have you heard of the Truth Society, or you're just going by their name?
Are you part of the Truth Society? I'm a little bit confused.
Yes, you're the Anti-Truth Society.
My legions are covering the Misty Vale, and no, I've not heard a single word of this Truth Society. It doesn't sound fishy to you at all.
Oh, I see. So you're just going by the name.
You don't.
And the fact that
cover by its book.
And the fact that like these lands are covered with us and the night worshipping, dragon worshipping knights, and I've already gone through this. No one's heard of this True Society, mate.
Oh. What's a secret society?
And she just
Not fucking more. You walked in and you just
Well,
I've
tried to,
you
like-
weren't accepted into Fight Club.
A little bit of
No one's
information.
heard of Truth Society, or just you and your people haven't heard of Truth Society? Is it like saying no one listens to hip hop?
Yeah.
I think Mallory's right on this one. In just a few days in the Misty Vale, we've already uncovered something that you couldn't. That proves our value.
Hearing that
We can
you've
help
only
you.
been in here for a few days, she just instantly cracks up again, and they're all captains
Getting
behind
cracked
her.
up at.
And she pushes aside a couple of the goblin scouts, lowers the spear. She throws it behind her. Not gonna need this. And sort of gets closer to both Digby and Christoph at the head of this group. This Truth Society. What did they have you do?
Well, that's a good question.
Well, it was more of a casual contract kind of thing rather than any sort of, we're not in the Truth Society. We're sort of just poking around a bit on their behalf, but we're mainly in it for ourselves and yourself, obviously.
And anti-Azrael.
They were at Riddermound. That's where I found them.
And Meladuke sort of looks over at Grub and then back at you. You're at Riddermound.
Aye, we're having a poke about for the statue pieces, but all we found was a white, and then got the shit kicked out of us, and then we left.
We did kill the white, though. We killed it.
Killed it, but then we left.
Yes.
Empty-handed.
Do I have to get my men to search you?
Ooh, best offer I've had all day.
Search them!
No, honestly.
Just called your bluff there.
I don't have it, do I?
The goblins, the 4 goblins, scouts, sort of rush towards the group, and they're like,
All right, hold that right there. If we're going to work together in a real way, then we should be honest with each other. All right? So let's talk about it. If we did have a piece, and then we get the next piece, how do we know that you're really going to be getting rid of the evil forces in this area? Misty Vale.
she explains that ever since Azrahel Koth's forces have sort of grown and expedited their search for the pieces, it became more and more clear that the orcs were going to be the first to be wiped out by Azrahel, and that their only way of keeping themselves around is to find these pieces, find the Umdaman, and kill Azrahel.
Right, I see. All right. So we have a common enemy, and I guess if we were to get all 4 pieces and then open the way to the sword, we could count on you to join us and go into the depths.
If you bring me Umdaman, I will fight at your side.
Very good. Shall we show, let's produce the piece. Look. Here, we've
The
already
piece.
collected 1 piece from Riddermound.
Oh, there
Yes.
it is. You did get it in the end, did you? All right, that's great. I didn't even...
Mallory pulls out the Riddermound piece,
But
but doesn't let anyone take it off her.
Yeah.
She's just showing it.
Now, Digby, you know you've got 2 pieces, so give me a bluffing roll.
Bluff.
PPK.
Oh, and which?
Can I assist with the bluff?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say no. If you want to assist with that, you're welcome to.
Put on my best ducky straight face.
Add a boon to the roll.
Boom, boom, boom.
And also, what was the condition that you gave yourself when you pushed on the persuasion roll?
Agility.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I only rolled 1. I rolled a 1. And a 1. 2 1s.
Okay, you pull out the Riddermound. Mallory pulls out the Riddermound piece, hands it to you, Digby, and you say, "This is the 1 piece we have." And you hold it up, and Maladuke's eyes widen, and she cannot believe that these beings in front of her have found one of these pieces. This is the start of something amazing, and this may just happen. We may be able to defeat Azrahel after all. And that's where we'll end it for tonight. With a great bluff.
Wow.
Wow.
The
Double
six
one.
bluff. Nice work.
Incredible.
Woo! That was great.
Never been so happy to get Snake Eyes. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's have a look at the XP stuff that we need to do. Did you participate in the game session? Give yourself a little advancement mark next to a skill. Did you explore a new location? Hell yeah. Did you defeat 1 or more dangerous adversaries? No, not defeat.
Fear.
Did you overcome an obstacle without using force? I'd say yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we just bluffed our way in.
Hell yeah. And did you give in to your weakness?
Not really.
Okay.
I would have liked to have more sleeping, but it didn't come up.
Yeah. We'll start with Wilgus with leveling up today.
Knives is what Wilkis is going for. So he clicks on the button. He wants to get higher, and he does.
That's awesome. Nice.
Nyx will go for evade, and I click it. And yes,
another one.
Oh,
Whoa, can we hat trick it?
do it.
I've got one more, and I'm gonna try healing.
Oh, not the same.
Nah, close.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's me.
Let's jump over to Christoph.
I'm going to try and level up acrobatics. I need to go over an 8.
Oh, wait, you rolled 2 dice. You got a 2 and a 10.
Oh, I've still got that bloody boon thing on.
So you-
Sorry.
That's all right. You rolled a 10 first, so that is higher than your 8. So that goes up.
Hooray! Good. That's done. Now... Oh, I've done the wrong bloody one. Sorry. That was awareness, right? And now that was acrobatics.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to try for awareness, which I've got a 9 in.
Nice. 20, definitely.
I can't see the results, so I'm on a smaller screen this
All right,
time.
you rolled a 20, so that's that gets pushed up.
Cool. And then the last thing for me is I've got a 13 on hammers, and I'm just really trying to become like a hammer
MC hammer.
beast.
Oh,
That's right. That's right.
These hammer
I need to
hammer,
beat a
yeah.
13.
220s.
Whoa.
Yeah, great. That's
What
good
the
as
heck?
well. All
Great.
right,
That's all 3 for me.
We've had
Ta-da.
2 very good level ups. Let's go to Moj.
Woohoo.
Mallory.
Gonna try and up this bluffing. Yes, success.
Success.
And then what's the next one? Evade. Oh,
It's not meets beats. No, you have to roll higher, unfortunately.
okay, persuasion. Yes.
Nice. Anything
And bows. Gonna do my weapon bows. I'm trying to get that was it you get that extra thing when you hit
else?
18?
The heroic ability.
Oh,
Yes, come on, bows. Well, it's not 18 yet, it's 16 currently,
yeah,
but
cool.
I'm on my way.
Bose headphones.
Yes!
Nice.
Oh,
Well done.
Nice. You're getting close to getting a heroic ability. You could get one next week, maybe, if all goes well.
Excite.
Anything else for Mallory? Nope. Okay.
Oh, that's it, thanks.
Cool. Digby.
okay, bluffing. I've currently got a 12, and I rolled a 12.
Unfortunate.
Persuasion. I have a 12, and I rolled a 10. Yeah, it's good. Sleight of hand, 9. Oh, how come that rolled a...
You rolled a 15 and a
because I have
16.
Agility.
Yeah. But that's
issues.
right. We'll take the first roll, which is a 16.
Oh, success.
Yep.
All right.
Yay.
And knives. I have 12. Done it again.
The first roll was a 13, which is
Okay,
success.
That's it.
Okay, good. I think that was a pretty good level up for everyone this week.
Yeah, 2 things.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, you guys have now met Maladuke.
Oof. Very scary.
Are we gonna do the Maladuke forever?
Are you going to get branded? We can line you up to get branded with Maladuke's branding. Maybe she'll pitch that next week, and we'll see how that
I'll get
goes.
some ink. Yep.
A brand.
That's not what I said. I said I'll get some ink.
Oh, okay.
Branded clothing.
yeah.
We'll all come out with baseball caps. It'll be beautiful.
Mallory's Adventure Tourism branded T-shirts.
We can work on her logo and her entire online presence.
Golden arches.
So walk around marketing package.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stylized
Yeah.
hooks in a golden arch.
Yeah. The with the eating the boar. You know.
All of us have a group
New
painting and we're all
fast
going
food.
like this.
Oh, nice.
And get some more dwarven art on the walls in here. Just a group photo.
We need a
Is,
machine that takes a photo so that we can do some proper tourism.
That's good
Yeah.
point.
I'd make a brochure.
At the end, we just take everyone, we set up a tour and we take them the trail that we took. Yes.
There you go. That's pretty good.
This would be the cafe
can-
we were in at the moment.
We could invent screen printing.
Okay.
That'd be our next thing.
Anti-slavery is too hard. Screen printing, we're there.
More achievable.
I can see there's a gift shop to the north of this area.
Yeah, there's a little crack.
Perfect place for one.
There's a little crack in the wall that leads out of there. Because Grub did say that Meladuke was at the other exit, so there were 2 exits. Main one and the one where she is.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was awesome, guys. That was really cool. I feel like that was quite a tense session. As you guys got closer and closer to this. I was like, what's going to be really interesting to see if there's any want of murder. Like if there is, I needed to really make it feel like murder would not go down well. I don't know if I achieved that. I hope I achieved
you did.
that. Yeah,
You did.
You did. Just like in real life.
I'm always pestering you about that, aren't I, Adam?
Yeah.
You're always constantly on my fucking case about, oh, don't murder people. List of fucking rules over here. What is your obsession with not murdering people?
Fun police.
Yeah.
PC gone mad. Can't murder anyone anymore.
Cool. Well, we'll continue this next week. I think we're all about next week. Let me know on the Discord if you guys are all still keen for next Tuesday. I know Adam's got something coming up in August. I can't remember when that was. I don't know.
Not murdering day.
Oh, okay. That's murdering day. That's what's happening.
The last week of August, I'll be on a plane to Dunedin.
Oh, okay, cool. They have Wi-Fi on planes, yeah.
Yeah.
Not on the not on Air New Zealand, I don't believe.
Ah.
Yep.
I thought you were
Not
going to ask
domestic.
if they had Wi-Fi in Dunedin.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that bold to assume that much, am I?
Early on the plane.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll be back at the same time next week. I'm really looking forward to it. There's more fun to be had, I think. Yeah. All right. Thanks, you guys, for the awesome session. I really enjoyed that one.
Yes.
Thanks, team.
Yeah.
Goodie.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.